Servus and welcome to Flo's German Kitchen. I'm Flo, this is my kitchen, and I show you how to cook the German way. Today we are making another traditional German side dish. Of course, the most famous Swabian South German side dish are the Spätzle, and also from the southwest of Germany we have the Schupfnudeln. And you can already see it's a pretty simple side dish. It only needs 5 ingredients: potatoes, flour, an egg, salt, and of course a good guzzle of German beer. Wunderbar. A few words about potatoes. You can see those potatoes don't look really beautiful. That's because I cooked them and peeled them yesterday already, so they turned a bit gray, but it was on purpose, because one important thing about the potatoes for the Schupfnudel dough is that they are as dry as possible. So I cooked these waxy potatoes yesterday and let them dry already. Another way to do that is if you peel the potatoes right after you cook it and then already mash them and spread out the mashed potatoes a little so that they can let off the steam and get a bit more dry. I like the way to just cook them a day before. And mashing the potato is the first thing we're gonna do. For this I'm using my Spätzle press. Wonderful tool, of course mainly for making Spätzle, but it works well with potatoes. Yeah, the potatoes are pretty hard. I'm probably turning red in the face already, but you can make it. I can make it, you can make it. So here we go, that's the first step. Next step is to add an egg, and the egg works as, let's say, a kind of glue, so that we get a stable dough. And I already add 1 teaspoon of salt. This is around 100 grams of wheat flour, just some standard pastry flour, and the exact measure is really a question of how the dough feels. We want it to be stable, we want it to be still a bit fluffy, not too sturdy. So we just start with adding some flour to the table for the further kneading. And then we just see how it develops. You don't want it to be sticky, you don't want it to be too sturdy, but the reason why I'm trying to use as little flour as possible is if you take too much flour, the Schupfnudeln turn out a bit, let's say, gummy later. And the less flour you take, the fluffier and the potato-ier, the more potato-y, whatever, the dough will turn out and the Schupfnudeln will turn out. This feels pretty good already. So I think that's it. Next thing you do is to shape a little roll. That's about as thick as a finger. And then you cut off little pieces. And what happens now is what actually gave the name to the Schupfnudel. That's called Schupfen. From what I read, I don't know the term, but that process of rolling the Schupfnudeln is called Schupfen in some South German dialect, and that's why they are called Schupfnudeln. Now, to get them to the pot easier for the cooking, I put them on a placemat so I can just directly put them in. I put some flour on the placemat so the Schupfnudeln don't stick. And this is exactly the shape you want. I just schupf them, roll them on the placemat, and go on. Now from the dough you could say it's a bit like Italian gnocchi, and yes, it's true, because both are made of a mixture of potato and flour, but there are some differences. One of course is the shape, and the other difference is the way we go on with the Schupfnudeln and how they are used. And I don't know when the gnocchi were invented, but the Schupfnudel is documented already from times of the 30 Years' War. So in 1600 something it's already reported that the soldiers would use Schupfnudeln, that shape. Yeah, who's a bit in food history might realize 1600 something they didn't even have potatoes in Europe at that time, and that's true. The first Schupfnudeln were done with just flour and egg, but the shape already existed then. And yeah, just to go a bit deeper into how to shape these, what you do is you shape kind of an arch of your hand and then just roll them so that it's got tips on both sides. And again, here you can see they're not all the exact same size, but that's the normal thing if something's handmade. And yeah, I just like it. If not, everything is totally the same. So there is still some dough to work. You don't have to watch that completely. So I'll turn the camera off, do that, and see you back in a couple of minutes. If you like this video and you want to help me make this the #1 place for German cooking on YouTube, now is a good time to like the video, to subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost you anything, but it makes YouTube understand that this is great content and show the content to more people and help this channel grow. We can make this together. So this is what I got out of about 600 grams of potatoes. Those are good couple of servings of Schupfnudeln. So next thing is I'll get a pot of boiling water to cook these guys. I'll start with the first batch. Yeah, that works well. I hope they can fit all at once. Yeah, looks good. Now the temperature of course is going down. I heat it up a little. But like when you are poaching Maultaschen, just be patient. So you can see the Schupfnudeln are floating at the surface. That's a good sign that they are done. Next thing you want to do is to shock them in cold water just to stop the cooking process. You can see there are some small pieces. This is when you make the Schupfnudeln a bit too pointy. Those thin tips, yeah, they just sometimes fall off. And this is exactly what you want. Funny thing, because of its shape, the Schupfnudel in Swabia is also called Bubespitzle. Well, Bub is a small boy, the rest I leave to your imagination. So this is what we got out of those 500 something grams of potato. Lovely, lovely Schupfnudeln. And I spoke about the differences between Italian gnocchi and the Schupfnudeln. Well, one is obviously the shape. The other difference is on how to go on after cooking them. In Italy, usually they get tossed in a sauce and served like that. What we do with Schupfnudeln is that they are going to be tossed and fried in a pan with butter. Speaking about tossing, if you want to keep and preserve your Schupfnudeln in the refrigerator or freeze them, what you want to do is to toss them in a little oil just so they don't stick together. So the butter is ready. I'm not going to fry all of them. That's enough for now. And when you fry your Schupfnudeln, don't use too much heat. Just about 170 degrees, just so that they get some roast crust on them. And if you take as little flour as I like to take, they are still a bit fragile, so handle them carefully in your pan. And yeah, just make sure that they get a good crust on the outside, because that crust also gives them more stability in the shape. So just leave them like that for a while. So that was something between 5 to 10 minutes. See how that looks. This is exactly what we want. This is really tasty, really delicious. I put some parsley on top. I put some pepper on top just for the tasting right now. But as I said, it is a side dish. So usually you will have it with all kinds of, let's say, rustic braised meat sauces. Of course, with a goulash, it's just a perfect combination. Another thing I mentioned in my video on how to make your own sauerkraut, which you can find here, is Krautschupfnudeln. And this is something I'm gonna make a video about in one of the next videos, definitely. So these guys are really tasty, potatoey. So yeah, I just want to go on eating. So just enjoy your German cooking, enjoy your Schupfnudeln, your Bubespitzle. Cheers on Bubespitzle. Wunderbar.